This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material.
The Global Self Model proposes that individuals maintain a unified self-image with a consistent traits and values across various life domains, resulting in overall measure of self-esteem that is less context-dependent, whereas the differentiation model posits and that individuals possess multiple context-specific selves, each contributing to their self-complexity and adaptive flexibility, allowing them to navigate different social roles and situations effectively, with both models emphasizing the importance of understanding individuals' differences, self-perception, and the psychological adaptation process, which holds significant implications for research application and practical understanding of human behavior.
So, in understanding the complexities of self-concept in psychology, it is essential to consider William James' distinction between the me-self, which includes the material self, our physical possession and body, the social self, how we present ourselves in various social contexts and the roles we play in the society, and the spiritual self, for example, our inner world, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and values, and the I self, which is the self as a subject representing the active, experiencing part of our consciousness that interacts with the world. Additionally, Sigmund Freud's it is a psychoanalytic perspective emphasizes that dynamic interplay between the id, which represents our primal instinctual drives operating on the pleasure principle seeking immediate gratification. So the ego, which develops in infancy and mediates between the id's demand and constraints of reality operating on the superego, which internalizes societal and parental moral standards and acts as our conscience, guiding our judgment and behavior, highlighting the influence of unconscious process on our self-concept, where our resolved childhood conflicts and repressed desires can impact our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Carl Rogers' humanistic perspective. Real self. This is how we perceive ourselves, our strengths, weaknesses, and unique qualities. Ideal self. This is how we aspire to be, our goals and ambitions. Congruence. When the real self and ideal self align, we express greater self-acceptance, fulfillment, and happiness. Incongruent. When there's a mismatch between real self and ideal self, it can be lead anxiety, dissatisfaction, and sense of being false to ourselves. Other perspective on self-concept. Behavioral perspectives. This focuses on how leading and environmental factors shapes our self-concept. Cognitive perspective. This focuses on how our thoughts, belief, and interpretation influence our self-conception. Sociocultural perspective. This highlights the influence of culture, social norm, and group identities on our sense of self. Biological perspective. This explores the biological basis of the self, considering roles, genetics, neurochemicals, and brain structures.
Today, we tackle about the real self versus the ideal self. The real self is defined as one's self-perception of the current attributes including strengths and weaknesses. And the ideal self is defined by the self-image of who someone wants to be. Often includes qualities they admire or strive for. The relationship to self-esteem is just that when the real self aligns closely with the ideal self, it can lead to a higher self-esteem, while a large discrepancy between the two can result in feeling of inadequacy or dissatisfaction. The relationship is influenced by social factors such as social expectation and personal experience, which shape both the real self and ideal self. So, Carl Rogers said, humanistic theory emphasizes that this gap between the real self and ideal self can lead to discomfort or low self-esteem. If the two are far apart, the goal in therapy or personal growth would be to reduce this gap, either by accepting the real self or by gradually working towards achievable aspect of the ideal self. So, both the real self and ideal self are dynamics in nature and can change over time as individuals grow and develop. For example, Anna is a 30 years old marketing professional. We talk about the real self of Anna. So, real self of Anna sees herself as shy, introverted, and struggling with public speaking. She is hardworking and dependable and values of her close relationship, but she often doubts her ability to lead or inspire a team. And let's talk about Anna's ideal self. So, Anna's ideal self is outgoing, charismatic, and confident. She images herself as natural leader who can deliver powerful presentation, make new friends effortlessly, and handle challenges with ease. In her mind, this vision of her would be more successful and admired.
Self. The ideal self represents the version of oneself that a person strives to become, and bridging the gap between the real self and ideal self through personal growth, realistic goals, and social support can lead to a healthier, more authentic self-concept. I would like to elaborate just a little about ideal self based on my own understanding. So for example, you idolize a celebrity, and that celebrity is Chris Brown. You're starting to imitate part of Chris Brown, like his talent, like singing and dancing. So to acquire that, you're willingly to set aside your real self just to imitate Chris Brown. To acquire that, you eagerly learn all Chris Brown talents, and that's all.
Today, we talk all about multiple versus unified self. The concept of multiple self refers to the idea that individual possesses different selves, identities that manifest in various contexts or roles, such as work, with family, or with friends, reflecting the diverse and dynamic aspect of their personality tailored to fit a specific situation and relationships. In contrast, the unified self represents the aspiration for a consistent, cohesive identity that integrates these different aspects into a single, coherent sense of self, embodying a stable core that remains consistent across various contexts and interactions, thereby reconciling the complexities of multiple roles and experience into harmonious and integrated whole, ultimately contributing to a person's overall sense of self of psychological well-being. In short, the unified self is the idea that we have a single, consistent identity, while the multiple self suggests we shift between different selves based on context. Modern psychology sees the self as flexible, adapting to situation while maintaining some core traits.
The true self is the authentic, spontaneous expression of a person rooted in their intrinsic needs and creativity, developing in supportive environment and leading to genuine feelings of vitality and comfort. The false self emerges as a defensive mechanism in unsupported environment where individuals suppress their true self and present an idealized version to gain approval, which can result in feelings of emptiness and authenticity. The true self align with one's inner values and lead to well-being, while the false self conforms to external expectation, potentially causing stress and conflict. Achieving psychological health involves expressing and embracing the true self in a supportive environment. Donald Winnicott and Carl Rogers both extensively explored this concept in their respective theories.
So today we will tackle about the self as proactive and agentic. So first is the self as proactive. Refers to an individual tendency to take initiative, make decisions, and drive their own actions rather than simply reacting to external events. It involves anticipating and influencing future outcomes through self-motivation and intentional behavior. So next is the self as agentic. Emphasizes the capacity of individuals to act as agents of change in their lives. It focuses on personal control and the ability to influence one's circumstances, make choices, and shape one's destiny through conscious efforts and decisions. And lastly is based on my understanding about this topic. So the self as proactive and agentic means kanang like viewing oneself as an active agent who takes initiative to shape their own lives and mga experience rather than passively reacting to circumstances. It implies a sense of personal agencies where ones believe they have the power of influence their own outcomes and actively pursue goals. Thank you.
The concept of a proactive and agentic self focuses on an individual's ability to take initiative, make choices, and intentionally influence the environment. It emphasizes the power of self-determination and personal agency, where people actively engage in goal-directed behavior to shape their lives and circumstances. Viewing oneself as proactive and agentic fosters empowerment, resilience, and personal responsibility, enabling individuals to align their lives with their values and aspirations. This perspective sees people as active creators of their experiences, not passive recipients. By exercising autonomy, individuals navigate challenges and seize opportunities, leading to personal growth and fulfillment. Through clear goals, strategic planning, and deliberate actions, they become resourceful agents of change, cultivating a strong sense of self-efficacy and resilience to persist through adversity and learn from failures. Ultimately, this approach drives personal growth and well-being, helping individuals shape their destinies and contribute meaningfully to their lives.